I never imagined that at 71 years old, I would be publicly humiliated at 35,000 feet in the air by my own son. The airport was loud, chaotic, alive with the restless energy of travelers rushing toward their gates. Rolling suitcases clicked against polished floors. Announcements echoed overhead. Families argued, couples laughed, businessmen barked into phones, and there I was standing quietly beside my son and his wife, holding my boarding pass like it was the last proof that I still mattered. I had been looking forward to this trip for months. When my son Andrew suggested a family vacation to Los Angeles, my heart lifted in a way it hadn't in years. He said it would be good for all of us. Time together, memories, a fresh start. I wanted to believe him. After my husband passed away 12 years ago, Andrew became my whole world. I raised him alone, worked endlessly, sacrificed silently. I told myself that one day all of it would be worth it. This trip felt like that day had finally arrived. We were flying from New York to Los Angeles. First class, at least, that's what my ticket said. Andrew walked ahead of me, his shoulders tense, his phone glued to his ear. His wife, Brianna, followed close behind him, heels clicking sharply, designer handbag swinging from her arm like a badge of status. Brianna was beautiful in the way money often creates. Perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect confidence. She was 34, almost 20 years younger than Andrew, and she made sure everyone noticed. She didn't look at me once. As we reached the boarding gate, the gate agent smiled politely. "Good afternoon. Boarding for Flight 782 to Los Angeles will begin shortly. First-class passengers may line up." I stepped forward. That's when Brianna stopped me. "Where do you think you're going?" she asked sharply, loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. I blinked. "First-class boarding," she laughed, not kindly, not nervously, the kind of laugh meant to embarrass. "Oh no," she said, waving her hand dismissively. "That's not for you." I looked at Andrew, waiting for him to say something, anything. He didn't. "My ticket," I began. Brianna snatched the boarding pass from my hand, glanced at it, then scoffed. "This must be a mistake." She turned to Andrew. "Did you accidentally check her in wrong?" Andrew shifted uncomfortably. Maybe." My stomach tightened. "Andrew," I said quietly, "I chose this seat myself." Brianna rolled her eyes. "Please, you don't need first class. It's wasted on you." People were staring now. I felt heat creep up my neck. "I've never flown first class before," I said softly. "I was really looking forward to it." Brianna leaned closer, lowering her voice, but not enough. "Listen," she said, her smile thin. "This is our vacation. Andrew and I need the space, comfort. You'll be fine back there. Back there, economy, like excess luggage." Andrew finally spoke. "Mum, it's just a seat. Don't make a scene." The words hit harder than Brianna's cruelty. "I'm not making a scene," I whispered. "I just want what I paid for." Brianna laughed again. "Paid for?" she said. "Andrew, did you hear that?" She turned to the gate agent. "There's been a mistake. She's not supposed to be in first class." The gate agent hesitated. "Ma'am, her ticket is wrong," Brianna snapped. "She's traveling with us, but she doesn't need special treatment. She's basically helping us." Helping us, that word, something inside me cracked. I looked at Andrew. He avoided my eyes. "Is that true?" the gate agent asked carefully. Andrew sighed. "She's my mother," he said, as if apologizing. "She'll be fine wherever." Silence stretched between us. I realized then that I was alone, completely. The gate agent handed the boarding pass back to Brianna. "I'll need authorization to change the seat." Brianna smiled, victorious. "Oh, don't worry," she said. "We'll handle it." She turned to me, voice dripping with condescension. Go wait over there. We'll fix this. I stood frozen as she and Andrew stepped forward, whispering to the agent. Around me, strangers pretended not to stare. Some looked sympathetic, others curious, a few judgmental. I felt small, invisible, old. After a few minutes, Brianna returned. Done, she said brightly. You're in 34B now, middle seat. The gate agent looked uncomfortable but said nothing. I swallowed hard. Andrew still wouldn't look at me. You're really okay with this? I asked him. He shrugged. It's not a big deal, Mum. You should be grateful we even brought you. Grateful for humiliation, for being pushed aside, for being reminded that I no longer belonged. Boarding was called again. First-class passengers stepped forward. Andrew and Brianna walked ahead without waiting for me. I watched them disappear down the jet bridge. Something inside me went very still. As I boarded later with the economy group, squeezed between strangers, knees pressed against the seat in front of me, I stared at the thin curtain separating economy from first class, just a piece of fabric, and yet it felt like a wall. I remembered the years I worked late nights, the deals I negotiated, the risks I took, the empire I built in silence. No one on that plane knew who I was, not even my own son. As the plane lifted into the sky, tears slid down my cheeks, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like everything else in my life. But beneath the pain, something else was forming. Not sadness, not shame, something colder, stronger, resolve. Because this flight wasn't the end of my story. It was only the beginning. And by the time we landed in Los Angeles, everything was going to change. The plane landed in Los Angeles just after noon. As passengers stood and reached for their bags, I remained seated for a moment, letting the rush pass. My legs ached from being folded into that narrow middle seat for 6 hours. But the ache in my chest hurt far more. First-class passengers exited first. I watched Andrew and Brianna walk past the curtain, laughing softly, relaxed, refreshed. Brianna glanced back once, her eyes skimming over me like I was a stranger. No shame, no guilt, just indifference. When I finally stepped into the jet bridge, I felt like I was arriving in a city that had no place for me. Los Angeles was bright, loud, full of confidence. Palm trees visible through massive glass windows. Sunlight pouring in like it owned the place. Brianna wasted no time. Andrew, she said briskly, adjusting her sunglasses indoors. We're going straight to the lounge. I need a real drink after that flight. She turned slightly, then added without looking at me, She can wait by the baggage claim. She, not Mom, not Renee. She. I stopped walking. I'm exhausted, I said calmly. I'd like to sit down too. Brianna laughed. In the lounge? She scoffed. Oh no, that's not happening. Andrew hesitated. Mum, the lounge is kind of exclusive. I have access, I replied. Brianna snapped her head toward me. Access? Her lips curled. With what? Your imagination? People nearby slowed, pretending not to listen. I met her eyes. My boarding pass includes lounge access. She stepped closer, lowering her voice but sharpening every word. Listen carefully. I don't care what your ticket says. You embarrass us. You don't fit there. Andrew rubbed his forehead. Mum, maybe just wait here. We won't be long. Something inside me hardened. I raised you, I said quietly. I worked my entire life so you wouldn't ever feel small. Brianna rolled her eyes. Here we go again, she turned to Andrew. She always does this, plays the victim. Can we please not deal with this right now? Andrew sighed. That sigh told me everything. I followed them anyway. The airline lounge entrance was sleek and modern, frosted glass, soft lighting, a calm oasis away from the chaos of the terminal. The attendant smiled politely. Welcome, may I see your credentials? Brianna handed over her card confidently. Andrew followed, then the attendant turned to me. Before I could speak, Brianna interrupted. "She's not coming in." The attendant paused. "Ma'am?" "She's traveling with us," Brianna said dismissively. "But she doesn't need to be here. She can wait outside." The attendant looked at me apologetically. "I'll need to see her pass to verify." Brianna scoffed. "She doesn't belong here." I slowly reached into my bag and handed over my boarding pass. The attendant scanned it. Her expression changed immediately. She straightened. "Oh," she said softly. "Of course. Welcome, Ms. Carter." Brianna froze. "What do you mean, of course?" The attendant smiled politely. "Ms. Carter has full lounge access." Brianna's face tightened. "There must be a mistake." "There is no mistake," the attendant replied calmly. Andrew looked confused. "Mom, how do you—" Brianna cut him off. "This is ridiculous. She probably paid extra by accident." I said nothing. Inside the lounge, plush chairs faced floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the runways. Soft music played, glassware clinked gently. I sat down slowly, deliberately. Brianna stood rigid. "This is absurd," she hissed. "People are staring." Andrew leaned down to me. "Mum, please don't make this awkward." I looked up at him. "Awkward," I repeated. I remembered the night I stayed awake worrying about his college tuition. The weekends I skipped rest so I could build something that would last. And now I was awkward. A server approached. "May I get you something to drink, Ms. Carter?" Before I could answer, Brianna snapped. "She doesn't drink." The server looked at me instead. "I'll have sparkling water," I said calmly. "With lemon." The server smiled. "Of course." Brianna clenched her jaw. She pulled Andrew aside, whispering harshly. "This is embarrassing. She's pretending she belongs." Pretending. Andrew glanced at me again, uncertainty flickering across his face. The lounge manager approached. "Ms. Carter," he said warmly, "welcome back." Brianna's eyes widened. "Back?" "Yes," the manager replied. "It's good to see you again." Andrew frowned. "Again?" Brianna forced a laugh. "You must be confusing her with someone else." The manager smiled politely. "I don't believe so." Brianna's voice rose. "Are you seriously saying she's some kind of VIP?" The manager looked at her calmly. "She is a valued guest." Brianna crossed her arms. "Well, she won't be joining us the whole time. We're heading out soon." I stood up. "No," I said quietly. "I think I'll stay." Andrew stared at me. "Mum?" "I need some rest," I said. "You two can go." Brianna looked relieved. "Perfect." She leaned in, voice sharp and low. "Try not to get lost." They walked away without another word. I sat alone in that quiet lounge, watching planes take off and land. For the first time since arriving, no one was talking over me. No one was ordering me around. The manager approached again. "Ms. Carter," he said gently, "is everything all right?" I met his eyes. "No," I said, "but it will be." He nodded as if he understood more than I'd said. As I sipped my water, my phone buzzed. A message from Brianna. "Don't try to embarrass us again. Know your place." I stared at the screen. "Know your place." I smiled, because she had no idea where my place truly was. And soon neither would Andrew. The hotel lobby smelled like money. Polished marble floors, crystal lighting, soft piano music floating through the air like it belonged there. Staff in tailored uniforms moved with quiet confidence. It was the kind of place people dreamed about, and the kind of place Brianna believed was designed specifically for her. As soon as we walked in, she straightened her posture. "This is more like it," she said. "Finally, somewhere decent." Andrew nodded, already pulling out his phone. I followed a few steps behind, dragging my small suitcase. No one offered to help me with it. No one ever did. At the front desk, a young concierge smiled politely. Welcome, reservation name? Mitchell, Brianna said sharply. Penthouse suite. The concierge typed, then paused. Yes, Mrs. Mitchell, we have you booked in a premium executive suite. Brianna's smile vanished. Excuse me? I said penthouse. I'm sorry, the concierge replied carefully. The penthouse is currently unavailable. Brianna laughed in disbelief. That's not acceptable. Andrew cleared his throat. There must be some mistake. I assure you, the concierge began. Before she could finish, Brianna's voice cut through the lobby. Do you have any idea who we are? Heads turned. I specifically requested the penthouse, Brianna continued loudly, and I don't appreciate being downgraded. The concierge stayed calm. We can certainly offer complimentary services. I don't want services, Brianna snapped. I want what I deserve. I stepped forward gently. Brianna, I said, the suite sounds lovely. We don't need. She spun around. Don't speak, she said coldly. This doesn't concern you. The lobby went silent. Andrew looked away. I felt that familiar burning in my chest. The concierge glanced at me sympathetically. Ma'am, Brianna cut her off. Don't talk to her, she snapped. She's just with us. Then she said the words that broke something deep inside me. She's basically the help. A sharp inhale rippled through the lobby. She's old, Brianna continued, her voice dripping with disdain. She gets confused. Just ignore her. I stood frozen. People stared. Some whispered. Someone raised their phone. My son said nothing. Then, worse, he laughed. Brianna, Andrew said with a chuckle, you're terrible. Terrible, but funny. I looked at him. Andrew, I whispered. He shrugged. Mum, relax. She didn't mean it like that. She meant exactly like that. The concierge's face hardened. Ma'am, she said to Brianna firmly, we ask all guests to remain respectful. Brianna scoffed. Respectful? To her? She pointed at me. She doesn't belong in places like this. The words hit harder than any slap. Andrew shifted uncomfortably. Mum, maybe you should sit down somewhere. Sit down, disappear, stop embarrassing them. I slowly bent down, lifted my suitcase, and walked toward the seating area. Every step felt heavier than the last. Behind me, Brianna continued arguing. I don't care what it takes. Upgrade us. I sat alone, staring at the floor. A woman across the lobby shook her head softly at me. Another man looked away, uncomfortable. I had never felt so invisible. Minutes later, the concierge approached me quietly. Mum, she said gently, are you all right? I met her eyes. Yes, I lied. She hesitated. If you need anything. Brianna's voice sliced through the air again. Why are you wasting time with her? The concierge straightened. Because she is a guest. Brianna laughed. She's not paying for anything. Andrew nodded without thinking. I cover everything, he said. She doesn't really have much. That lie, so easily spoken. My stomach dropped. The concierge looked between us, confusion flickering across her face. I see, she said slowly. I stood up. I'll wait in my room, I said quietly. Andrew looked relieved. Good idea. No one asked which room, no one cared. An employee escorted me upstairs. The silence in the elevator was unbearable. As the doors opened, I caught my reflection in the mirrored wall. Grey hair, tired eyes, a woman reduced to nothing by the people she loved most. Inside my room, I sat on the edge of the bed and finally let the tears fall. Not loud, not dramatic, just grief. Grief for the son I thought I raised better. Grief for the respect I thought I earned. Grief for the lie they had turned my life into. My phone buzzed, a text from Andrew. Please don't cause problems. Brianna is already stressed. Stressed from humiliating me. I set the phone down, and that's when I stopped crying, because something inside me had changed. They thought I was weak. They thought I was dependent. They thought I had nothing. They were wrong, and tomorrow they would learn just how wrong they were. The next morning I woke up before sunrise. Los Angeles was still quiet, the city bathed in soft golden light. From my window I could see the palm trees swaying gently, unaware of the storm that was about to hit inside this hotel. For the first time in years I felt calm, not weak, not sad, clear. I dressed carefully, not in anything flashy, not in anything expensive, just simple, elegant, confident. The kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce itself. At exactly 8:15 a.m., my phone rang. "Ms. Carter," the voice said respectfully, "this is Daniel from the airline executive office. We're ready when you are." "Good," I replied. "I'll be in the main conference lounge." I hung up and smiled. Breakfast in the hotel restaurant was already loud when I arrived. Brianna was holding court, sunglasses on her head, barking orders at the waiter. "I asked for almond milk, not oat. And these eggs are cold." Andrew sat across from her, scrolling on his phone, nodding along. I approached the table calmly. "Good morning," I said. Brianna barely glanced at me. "We're busy," she said. "Go eat somewhere else." I pulled out a chair and sat anyway. Andrew looked uncomfortable. "Mom, what are you doing?" Having breakfast," I replied. Brianna scoffed. "Can you not do this today?" Before Andrew could respond, the restaurant manager approached. "Ms. Carter," he said politely, "they're ready for you upstairs." Brianna snapped her head up. "Upstairs for what?" The manager hesitated, then replied carefully, "The executive meeting." Andrew frowned. "What executive meeting?" I stood. "You'll find out," I said. Brianna laughed nervously. "This is ridiculous." As I turned to leave, she added loudly, "Don't be late watching the kids later." I paused. "There will be no kids for me to watch today," I said calmly. She rolled her eyes. "Sure." The executive lounge was already full, men and women in tailored suits, airline representatives, hotel executives, legal counsel. When I walked in, the room fell silent. Then they stood. "Good morning, Ms. Carter," Daniel said. "We're honored to have you." Brianna's voice echoed in my mind. She doesn't belong. I took my seat at the head of the table. "Let's begin," I said. Less than an hour later, I returned to the lobby. Andrew and Brianna were there, arguing loudly at the front desk. "This is unacceptable," Brianna snapped. "Our cards aren't working." The front desk agent looked nervous. "I'm sorry, Ma'am, all charges on this account have been frozen." Andrew turned pale. "What do you mean frozen?" I stepped forward. "It means," I said calmly, "that I've closed the accounts." They both turned. Brianna's eyes widened. "You did what?" "I paid for your flights, your hotel, your lifestyle," I continued. "And as of this morning, that ends." Andrew laughed nervously. "Mom, stop joking." I looked him straight in the eyes. "I'm not joking." Brianna's voice rose. "You don't have that kind of money." That's when Daniel walked in behind me. "Actually," he said, "Ms. Renee Carter is one of our largest private investors and holds executive lounge privileges across multiple airlines." The lobby went silent. Brianna's face drained of color. "That's not possible," she whispered. The hotel manager stepped forward. "Ms. Carter is also a majority stakeholder in this property." Andrew staggered back like he'd been hit. "No," he said, "that's not true." I pulled a folder from my bag and handed it to him. Mortgage payments, school tuition, credit card statements. "All paid by me," I said, "for years." Andrew's hands shook. Brianna screamed. "She lied to us. She's manipulating everyone." The hotel manager shook his head. "Ma'am, we have verified everything." Security appeared beside Brianna. "What's going on?" she shrieked. I'm afraid, the manager said firmly, your stay has been terminated. Andrew looked at me, eyes filled with panic. Mum, please, we can talk about this. I shook my head. You laughed when I was humiliated, I said quietly. You told people I was nothing. Brianna fell to tears. You can't do this to us. I already have, I replied. Their luggage was brought down within minutes. Guests watched in stunned silence as Brianna screamed, Andrew begged, and security escorted them toward the exit. As the doors closed behind them, the lobby breathed again. Daniel turned to me. Are you all right? I nodded. For the first time in a long time, I said yes. That afternoon, I sat alone by the pool sipping iced tea. No orders, no insults, no shame, just peace. Sometimes the hardest lesson to learn is that love without respect isn't love at all, and sometimes the strongest thing you can do is finally stand up for yourself.